What did Muhammad Ali, Andy Warhol, and Yves Saint Laurent have in common? The answer is the watch they all wore, one of the most elegant, influential, and enduring timepieces ever made. The Cartier Tank is truly worthy of being called a design classic, in an age where that designation has become quite everyday. First sold in 1919, it's the original rectangular watch, but wearing it is never a retro statement. There have been wondrous variations down the decades, but its language has stayed remarkably consistent and consistently fashionable. Somehow, the Tank is a watch that refuses to be anything but modern. As in all the best designs, the concept embodies simplicity itself. A rectangular dial is flanked by longer, rounded bars known as brancards, to which the strap is neatly attached at either end. There's no bezel and no horns. Those elegant brancards do all the work. On the dial itself, Cartier's Belle Epoque Roman numerals fan out around a minute scale resembling a railway track. And on the winding crown, as on all Cartier watches, sits a sapphire cabochon of deepest blue. Whether your Tank is a vintage or recent model, this blueprint holds true. The Tank LC, or Tank Louis Cartier, is named after the man who designed the Tank in 1917. A genius in the earliest era of wristwatches, whose masterpiece gained its unlikely moniker from the way its shape echoed the aerial view of the tanks that were rumbling across the battlefields of Flanders in the First World War. The Tank Louis Cartier is a pure embodiment of its namesake's creative vision, a watch of quiet but unmistakable luxury and sophistication that's a pleasure to wear. Those brancard flanks, Mr. Louis Cartier's great invention, ensure a particularly seamless fit. Look closely, and the sense of craft is palpable. You find it in the individually flame-blued hands, the perfect proportions of the antique numerals, the sensuous polish and finish on the 34mm case. The Tank LC is a watch of culture and finesse, and the use of a slimline hand-wound movement is entirely appropriate to that disposition. In the 1920s, the Tank was a radical object for a radically transforming world, and it would go through a few radical transformations of its own, pulled this way and that by Cartier, but with an unimpeachable purity. There have been curved and square tanks, asymmetric and elongated tanks, even tanks on bracelets. Each had its own character, but remained inimitably a tank. It was ahead of its time in another way too. As Jackie Kennedy and Princess Diana would prove, the Tank is a truly unisex design, and never more so than in the disco era, when Cartier brought it to the masses with the battery-powered Must de Cartier Tank. The Must today is battery-powered as it was in the 1970s, though it now enjoys the benefits of Cartier's world-class in-house watchmaking, with an 8-year lifespan. Its form is that of the classic Tank, with the same unerring sense of proportion and style dreamed up by Louis Cartier. Cased in stainless steel, it reveals the ageless versatility of that design. It's a watch to wear day in, day out, but it wears its importance lightly. As Andy Warhol himself admitted, he didn't wear a Tank for telling the time at all. I wear it, he said, because it is the watch to wear. It was then, and it still is now.